So we're recording. So welcome. Good. Hello, everyone. This is Steve Hadcock, chair of the NACAA Scholarship Committee. This afternoon, we want to go through and share some ideas with you. What's the scholarship process about? What is it? What can it be used for? If you haven't participated before, how can I get myself ready to be able to get a scholarship? And how can I contribute to it? So with that, I have two of the vice chairs here, Adele Hartley from South Dakota and Carol Knight from Georgia, and I'm going to turn it over to Adele to take it off from here.
I thought Carol was going to.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Carol.
It's all right. Well, good afternoon, or I guess maybe even good morning, depending on where you're joining us from. It is afternoon here in the sunny South, but welcome. And I am, I guess, one of the newcomers to the scholarship committee. So I'm happy to be joining this committee and look forward to helping not only raise some funds, but award some funds later on this year. And we hope to tell you about some changes as well that are coming to the process of how much you can receive, as well as, what you need to do to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row to be able to receive a scholarship. So with that, let me introduce you to our scholarship committee. Mr. Hadcock, Steve Hadcock from Cornell, serves as our national chair. Thomas Dominguez from New Mexico Extension is our Western Region vice chair. Adele Hardy, who is from South Dakota Extension, is our North Central Region, and she's with us as a panelist today. And then Michael Haberlin from Rutgers Cooperative is our Northeast region. And then I myself, my name is Carol Knight, and I'm with the University of Georgia and am the Southern Region Vice Chair. I'm really excited about that, especially since the AMPIC is going to be in Southern Region. I hope that means we're going to have lots of scholarship donations coming in, heading to West Palm this summer. So first off, just kind of wanted to tell you about what the scholarship program was and kind of what it's based off of. And it really does have three different kind of, I guess, missions or purposes. One is to improve the knowledge and skills of agents, whether that be as individuals, or we do have groups that apply for scholarships. To whom these grants are made in order to increase their ability to educate the public pursuant to the purposes of extension. Also to benefit the public by increased knowledge in agricultural and related matters to be conveyed through professionally educated agents. So of course, we want to provide professional development opportunities. And then the third one is to maintain high educational standards to carry out the education extension program. Now, you'll notice here the NACAA Education Foundation. So this is a foundation that's wholly separated from and distinct from NACAA. It's a 501c3 nonprofit corporation. And the NACAA Board of Directors, I guess, acknowledges that they're responsible. This foundation or board of trustees for the educational foundation is responsible for the management of the foundation funds. And so that's where our scholarship funds are housed. And this board of trustee manages those for NACAA. Let's see. Oh, and yep. So Steve was going to go over some examples.
Sure. So not sure who is here, but guessing that many that are joining us today are those that have not received a scholarship in the past and kind of curious of, well, what can I use these funds for? And so they can be used to attend other conferences by NACAA policy and maybe even the foundation's policy, the scholarship funds cannot be used to attend an NACA annual meeting professional improvement conference. If you need to seek funds to be able to attend an NACAA AMPIC, then you need to search and seek funds elsewhere. The NACA scholarship program cannot be used for that. But for example, there I listed the American Society of Horticultural Science is one example of another conference, Master Gardener conferences, any kind of other type of conference which can help the individual with their professional development, certainly would be something that the scholarship committee, which is the 5 of us, when reviewing applications, would take into consideration. The other would be professional development within the state. So we're, when we're talking conferences, maybe think of a national conference or a conference in another state, but even professional development within a state. And several people have applied for Homeland Security training within their states that's been put on by their state or some entity within their state that's been doing that and have gone through that training. It's also available for tours. The example here is a picture that I just got is from a group of individuals from Alabama, had set up their own tour and they wanted to see what agriculture is taking place in California, and they submitted a scholarship, and they were all able to participate in it. All those that submitted the scholarship for seeking a scholarship. It can also be used for graduate degree tuition as well, either master's or a PhD. We've had almost every year we've had individuals apply, seek to have some of their graduate degree tuition paid for through the NACA scholarship program. And let me go back up to tours for a minute. The tours by Thor, we had several this year apply and receive scholarship funds to go on this tours by Thor, which is something that's affiliated or that business works with NACAA. So they went to Costa Rica or Central America this year. And so we provided scholarships to them. So just want to mention that you can either apply as an individual, or you can, like the example here, or you can apply as a group. But if you are going to apply as a group, all members of that group must meet the eligibility requirements. And that's what Adele is going to go over next. And just keep in mind that if you are putting together a group, that all of you need to meet these eligibilities.
All right, so we'll get started with the eligibility requirements. And one of the things to keep in mind is that these are changing. And that's part of the reason that we're having this webinar today, is to kind of let everybody know where we're at right now and what's coming for the future. So for scholarship eligibility for 2022, the amount of awards that are available is determined by that foundation, those foundation trustees like Carol was talking about. And then we as the scholarship committee go through those applications and determine how that money can be allocated. Important things to keep in mind. Your maximum lifetime scholarship award is now $3,000. Previously, I don't remember these numbers exactly. Was it 2,500 previously or 2,000?
2,000.
It was 2,000. So this amount was increased by $1,000. One of the great benefits of this scholarship is it's an amazing return on investment. So when we think about becoming vested in for the scholarships, each of us as members would need to donate at least $40 to receive up to a $1,500 scholarship. We can only receive $1,500 at one time with that maximum lifetime of $3,000. In order to receive the second $1,500, we would have to donate at least $100 in order to receive that $1,500. So That's for 2022. So timing of donations is also important. So we have to have those donations made prior to the end of this year's AMPIC in West Palm Beach for 2023 applications. If you were not vested prior to the end of our last AMPIC, you would not be eligible for a scholarship this year. Scholarship applications must be submitted by June 1st. So we're about 6 weeks away from that deadline. So if anybody is vested and interested in applying for a scholarship, now is the time to be getting that put together. And Steve's going to go through that process here in a little bit, but all of that information is available on the website, just like all of our communication and presentation and poster award applications. We also apply for the scholarship there as well. So as we move forward into our next kind of step of this process, our vestment levels are going to be changing. So for eligibility for 2023, to receive up to $1,500, that first level moves from $40 to $100. And then for the additional $1,500, you have to donate an additional $100. So we would have a total of $200 to be vested to receive the $3,000 lifetime scholarship. And I guess I would invite Carol or Steve to help clarify that, because there's a lot of, this is a lot of numbers. I think the take home is, if you're currently vested and can apply for scholarships right now, June 1st is the deadline. If you're not, those vestment levels are going to increase for 2023.
That's pretty much right, Adele. So if you're going to, for 2022, if you've got, say that you have never applied for a scholarship and you're thinking about it, all you need to be worried about is having invested $40 in the scholarship program and you're good to go. However, if you're thinking way ahead and thinking about 2023, then if you're then thinking of making your initial scholarship application, then you need to be at the $100 level by July 21st. So to summarize and just make sure we're all clear here, is that for any applications this year, the vestment thresholds are $40 and $100. Going forward for 2023 and beyond, or for the near future at least, the vestment levels are going to be $100 and $200.
If anybody has questions on those, please don't hesitate to reach out to your regional vice chair and we can definitely help walk you through that.
Exactly.
And there are ways to check your current vestment level on the website. You can find that information to be able to see, you know, if you're questioning, I don't know if I've made the $40 for this year, or I need to know how much I need to make up for next year. There are ways to find that on the website to see where you're sitting.
Thanks for bringing that up, Carol. I meant to mention that. Yeah, on your dashboard, when you're logged into the website, there is a box that says view my contributions. And if you click on that box, it will outline what you have contributed to date. And then Scott also walked us through how everybody has, you can basically look at everybody in your state association if you want to see maybe who isn't vested in your association, or if you're planning on doing one of those group applications, ensuring that everybody on that group application is fully vested in order to do that. So Scott had mentioned that to get access to see who else in your association or who else might be vested, you can go to the awards and applications section and then select scholarship, and you can search your active members, and then you can be able to see who has donated, and you can also see who's received scholarships in the past if you have maybe questions on who's been successful and what they've done, or get some ideas on what they could use for the scholarship money.
Okay.
So we have a question in the chat about when those June 1st, 2022 scholarships are then awarded, and it would be following the AMPIC in West Palm Beach.
The scholarship committee will be meeting during the AMPIC. We'll be making our determination then. We will learn from the foundation ahead of time of how much they're allocating for scholarships this year. And then once we know that number, the scholarship national committee, which is Tom, Mike, Adele, Carol, and I will be sitting down and reviewing this. The applications have been submitted, and then making our determinations. But getting to what both Carol and Adele were saying, but so for example, let me go back for a second. You hopefully most or all of you have created an account with the new NACAA website. So just quickly walk you through of since the question was well, how do I know how much I've donated, or anyone else? If I'm especially thinking of a team, if you come up here to awards and applications, you get the drop down menu, you see scholarships is listed here, and then you can scroll down and it, as was stated, he says I'm just gonna pick New York, and then I'll say I want to see what active members of New York State have, what their status is, what have they contributed, have they gotten any scholarships awards so far. So then you click search, and then you can see what folks have contributed. Okay, and you can also see what they have gotten in return, any scholarships that they've gotten. And you can, so you, as Scott was explaining beforehand, this is any NACA member that has an account with the NACA website can look at any state and any member in any state. So if you were even thinking of collaborating with or getting a group tour together with ag agents from other states, then you certainly can look to see if they've been met the vestment thresholds as well. So Phyllis asks, is a group application, so does each individual receive $1,500 or is the entire group? It based on availability of funds, Phyllis, if there's enough money to, it depends on this, also the size of the group, if the as well, but it is possible that each member of the group would receive, and we always caveat up to $1,500. It's not just the $1,500 is not to be spread out amongst all of the members of the group. It would be for each individual. The amount awarded would be what would be awarded for each person in the group. Does that answer your question? Okay.
She also asked if there's a limit to a group size.
Not that I'm aware of. Scott, are you still here?
I'm not aware of one either.
Okay. So I think I'm next. I'm just gonna go cheat here and look at the PowerPoint slides. Yeah, I'm just gonna stay in the website. And so how do you, what's the process, or where do you go to make the application? And that was, I put it in the chat box, it was asked. But if you scroll down under applications, you'll see that one of the boxes here that you should see is scholarship application. So if you click on that, I'm not going to make a dummy extension one here, actually, although I think everything is here. So in one screen, so it's easy to explain. A lot of the things are self-explanatory at the beginning. Here's where you, if it was a group, this is where you can add your group members to. So only one person for the group has to submit the scholarship application. Remember, so total estimated cost of the would be, remember that if it's individual, that's pretty straightforward. But if you are applying for a group, and let's say that you've got 3 people that are part of the group, they'll then make sure that the total estimated cost would be, make sure that you're including not only what you anticipate your cost would be for that group tour, for example, but what's the total cost for all of the group members to attend. Are you receiving financial support from any other sources? Is your extension director supporting this? Is your university supporting this? A good example would be is that if you're going for a graduate degree within the same institution that you're working for, you might be getting a break on the tuition costs. You could or should include that you're not paying the full cost of the tuition. And then you could say where the funding sources are going to come from. And a starting date is important, okay? And it can be approximate. It doesn't have to be the exact date, but that's, as national chair, that's important to me, because if I don't hear from you and you say that you put down the starting date of March 1st for the sake of argument, hypothetically of 2022, and I haven't, and it was supposed to be completed, it was a tour or something, I'm going to start bugging you as to where is your report, where's your voucher to get paid, that's that kind of stuff. So, the starting date is important, and then also to put in, and then you give a description. There's we don't want you to write the next great American novel here, but you got to remember that this is competitive. Okay. So the more detail or the more compelling story that you can put into the description as to why this is what this activity is going to be, why is it important to you, and how is it going to benefit you professionally, will help. Okay. And it says there, locations, dates, even if it is a tour, include a tour itinerary. That's, you may think that, well, that's too much. No, it's not. The committee takes this job of awarding scholarships seriously. And so we look at all of what's submitted. And if it's, the more if to some extent to a point, the more information that we have, the more comfortable we have in making a decision on whether or not to award a scholarship, or certainly give a full award fully a scholarship application that we've received. Yeah, and maybe I was getting the description and justification mixed up a little bit. This is where you definitely want to say something about how you're going to benefit professionally from this educational activity that you have submitted. A budget is definitely needed. We're not asking you to have it accurate to the last penny, but we want to, a couple of things. We want to see what you anticipate the total costs are, but quite honestly, we want to see how much skin in the game, quote unquote, you have in this. And that we've had some applications in the past where for whatever reason, this scholarship was going to cover all the costs for, or what was requested as far as a scholarship amount was going to cover the total cost of a group or an individual to go on a tour. And that, in our mind, maybe, all right, admittedly, maybe being somewhat subjective, but those that would rank lower than those that are showing some type of a financial, making a personal or their institution is making an financial investment in them attending this educational activity. And that's really it as far as the application is concerned. It seems simple and straightforward, but I think it was Adele that said, 6 weeks out, we want you to do the best job you can or submit the best application you can. So it's really not too soon to start thinking about putting your awards application together and having it submitted by June 1st. And just going back to the slides. So any questions about, well, we're almost done to the end, down to the end here. So, oh yeah. So we're talking about now we've talked about the application process, and we're gonna move on to talking about ways to donate.
Is that back to me?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so this is, we talked about those vestment amounts. And so this is going to become even more important this year for West Palm Beach's AMPIC, because, if you aren't yet up to the $100 level moving forward, you will need to be able to apply for scholarships. So there are lots of ways that you can donate to the scholarship fund. Of course, you can just contribute directly. If you want to just, write a check and say, I'm going to just invest my $100, you certainly can do that. There's a donate now button where you can do that through the website. But there's a lot of other maybe more fun ways to participate in contributing to the scholarship fund. And a lot of those happen at our annual meeting and professional improvement conference. So we sell scholarship raffle tickets there. So you can certainly contribute by buying a raffle ticket. And hopefully, if you're a winner, you'll win the cash prize, I think. And I'm not familiar with how much that, if that changes the amount that's awarded as the winning raffle winner, but you could potentially get a little back if you win the raffle. You can also contribute a scholarship auction item. And so that is another duty of our committee, is handling the scholarship auction that happens at the annual meeting every year. We'll talk about how you can do that here in just a second on the next slide, but also your state scholarship activities. So I know in a lot of states, when you have your state meeting or state scholarship auction, you can decide how you want the money that you raise at your state auction divvied up or vested for you. I know typically at ours in Georgia, a lot of people will split their scholarship auction items that they bring for their state AMPIC, and half of it gets vested in the state scholarship fund and half of it goes on to NACAA. So that is another way that you can invest. Just make sure that you're timing that correctly of whenever your state AMPIC is, so that it gets invested for you in time to apply for scholarships. For example, our state AMPIC is generally in the fall. And so if you just contributed this past fall, it's going to be applied for 2023. It doesn't do you any good for this particular year. So just be careful of those deadlines of when you're vesting that money into the scholarship fund, and make sure that you have it lined up for the year that you want to apply for those scholarships. So, if you do want to participate in the scholarship auction, of course, we want everybody to attend AMPIC, but if you are unable to attend, certainly you can still send an auction item to be included in the scholarship auction. If you have a neighboring agent or someone who can bring that item, to the meeting for you, but we will be taking information about those items ahead of time. I know, we've kind of started moving to more of an online platform, so folks can see those items ahead of time, and we can kind of build the hype for the scholarship auction, which is nice. So you'll be getting, or we'll send these out probably, I guess, to the scholarship chairs in each state to distribute these forms. But this will collect the information about your scholarship auction item, as descriptive as you can be in 30 words or less. Beautiful pictures are very much encouraged so that we can get a good view of what you're contributing. And then those forms will come back to each of the regional vice chairs. So I expect to be inundated with stuff from Southern Region because I imagine we'll have a lot of folks in attendance. So those will all come to me. Of course, each of the region vice chairs are listed there. We'll collect those, make sure that we have all the information that we need before those are uploaded to the online platform. That doesn't mean that those items will not be in attendance. You'll still get to peruse those on auction night. They'll be set out for you to take a look at, and see in person. We need those items to actually show up to West Palm Beach for us to auction them off. But this kind of helps us get our ducks in a row before we get to the auction. And that platform works really nicely. I think we're still exploring what online platform we're going to use, but we'll have one that we're utilizing for that as well. So be on the lookout, scholarship chairs, for this form, and just realizing that those have to. We'd like for those to come back into us to the regional vice chairs by July 5th. So that we can get all of that information collected and uploaded. And so, of course, we want people to purchase scholarship items at the auction as well, but what you're getting credit for is your donation. And so whatever your donation brings in the auction, that's what you get vestment credit for. So if I donated, I don't know, a bag of peaches from Georgia, I would get credit for whatever they brought. If I purchased something from somebody else, I don't get credit for that. They appreciate my purchase and they'll certainly take my money, but that's not what my vestment amount I get credit for. I get credit for whatever I'm bringing to the auction. So just remember that of course, we want you to participate in the auction. It's a lot of fun and purchase all the things that come, but your scholarship donation is whatever you contribute into the auction. So just keep that in mind moving forward.
Yeah.
And with that, I think our last thing is just our contact information with all of our emails. Of course, we're all over the website too, under that scholarship committee of ways to get in touch with us. So, just encourage you as you go through this process, if you have any questions, of course, your state scholarship chairs can be very helpful, but don't feel like you can't reach out to any of us as well if you have questions moving forward.
Just to add a little bit, great description, Carol. Just one thing I would add is that if you are going to West Palm Beach and have to donate have submitted a form for donating an auction item, there will be a kiosk or something in the registration area where you will be able to take that item to there, and then one of the friendly Florida people will graciously take that from you, look up your name. They're going to have all of the information of what we have ahead of time for donated items, and they'll label it properly so that you will get credit for it, that it will be tracked throughout the whole process until it's sold or it's auctioned off. If you or state chairs, any state chairs on here, if last minute you decide, gosh, I missed the deadline, no worries, we're still prepared to go use the same method that we've used in prior AMPICs, where there's a ticket that you will fill out essentially with the same, asking for the same information, fill out the ticket, and then it's attached to your auction item, and it too will be then stored in the locked room where all of the auction items are being stored. So yeah, open it up to any questions. Either feel free to unmute yourself or type whatever you like in the chat box.
We must have been very thorough, no questions.
Exactly. Well, look, look at who you have, outstanding presenters here. So we've done well. Yeah, I'm not seeing any questions. I'm seeing people leave. So I think we'll wrap it up for today. If you have any follow-up questions, additional questions, you know how to get in touch with us. And Greg, yes, the recording will be available. Scott will be sending out on a reminder that also there will be an evaluation sent along as well. We appreciate you completing the evaluation. If there was something that we, after thinking about this and we missed, you wanted follow up on as far as the scholarship program is concerned, please feel free to let me know on the evaluation. So with that, thank you, everyone. Thank you, ladies. Great job. Always great to work with you. And we'll see you in West Palm Beach, but we'll be in touch before that. So take care, everyone. Bye-bye.